Grant Kenny has run second and fourth in his 2 appearances, so this will be on. Kirsty Marshall riding behind Kenny. Here they go off the line. Every which way they try and get some advantage. Side by side, Kenny's going to take the first corner. Wally Lewis on the outside of him, and they pour down. Watch the first corner as they come through Brocky.
Yes, and this is a place you can make up a couple of places very, very quickly. But look, we seem to have a fairly much a trouble-free activity up front. Obviously, they've been counselling them, saying, get the first chicane right. Don't sort of get that one wrong or you're putting yourself out of the race. Some quiet motoring down the back there, I might add.
Yeah, I mean, people at home say, gee whiz, these cars look like they're really crawling along. But let me tell you, when you're in them, you're driving it as quickly as you possibly can.
Oh, yeah, look, it's all relative. And up front there, by getting away very nicely. I think that was Grant Kenny there still holding a very nice lead.
Yeah, Wally Lewis tucked in behind him. There's Grant Kenny. Now, I said, a very competitive man, Grant Kenny. Is that Kirsty Marshall? I think she's up in the 3rd place.
She's in 3rd. Wally Lewis, you can see his eyeballs spinning there in 2nd. You can get that look about him.
The king, never been beaten. But I tell you what, terrific tussle by the 2 Queenslanders, but Kirsty won't let them get away with it. If anyone's going to really spoil their fun, it'll be Kirsty Marshall.
Well, I'll tell you what, Grant's got a little bit of a gap there. That's very handy in this sort of racing because he won't have to take a defensive line under braking. And I mean, that sounds a bit professional, but these guys have done a little bit. You know, they know all about blocking and that sort of stuff. See, he'll be able to hold the right-hand side, the left-hand side of the circuit and take a very nice line into the stop-go corner at the end of the straight. So far, so good. I mean, it's very, very quiet, but I think the action's going to come in a couple of laps after those brakes get nice and cooking. Hello, here's one.
Here's the first of the moves now, as you can see. Try and pick up who that was not a bad move. Right up on the inside, plenty of tyre smoke coming off.
That was Kirsty who got pushed aside there, but she won't like that too much. She'll be back there having a go.
Gary Niewander was, car 15, Gary Niewander, cyclist.
Very competitive person. I was talking to him at a couple of functions leading up to this event, and he listened to every word, every bit of advice.
When you look at the lineup of people here, I mean, it's all a bit of fun for them, but they're all people that have been high achievers in their own field, so they've all got that competitive streak.
Well, you never want to get out there and do less than your best. I think it's regardless of whatever you're doing now. This is a totally new discipline for them, but they've soaked up every bit of information. As soon as you stand there, open your mouth about how to drift the car through a corner, they're all ears, and they all rush up and they all say, go away, this is my information, not yours.
Well, as you can see, the camera getting a fair work out there with all the rubble coming off. It's not a bad shot, is it? Gives you an idea of the sort of speed they're doing. Still Grant Kenny from Wally Lewis. Gary Niewander now up into 3rd. Kirsty Marshall has been bumped back. Ian Murray. Now, that's not a bad performance. He's picked up a couple of places there.
Yeah, and Ian Murray's obviously, he's a car buff. I mean, he loves his motor cars. Obviously has applied himself enormously. But you look at him, you think, whatever this guy does, he's going to do it full tilt.
He'd want a Commodore to tame around. He gets bigger by the day.
He's a rather large boy, Daryl.
he turned out in, of course, the Kookaburras for the America's Cup Challenge. A brilliant designer of yachts and just a really nice guy. One of the nice people.
Guy. And look at this. He's got the right line there. He's going to try and get up the inside on the way out.
This is Kirsty Marshall.
No, Kirsty's going to block a little bit. She's moved across about half a car width. She'll be looking in the mirror now. She'll be saying, now I'll get back over again. She's done the right thing.
We're looking out at Kirsty's car.
Now, this is Kirsty's car, right. Well, it'd be Gary Niewander in front, and Kirsty's got a nice run out of that corner. She's going to keep this run down the outside, and it's very possible that she can pull an outbreaking manoeuvre there.
Here we go, side by side. Kirsty Marshall says it's about time to let me hustle, muscle, get away through here. She's done it too nicely.
If I were her, I'd move across in front of Gary. No, she's sort of just let him move.
Oh, gets it sideways, almost a tap, and she does get a bump. Well, she did it all wrong. She should have been listening to you, Brocky.
Well, that's all right. Armchair critics, of course, we can all sit up here and say those things, but she got bumped back there. I guess that Ian Murray just stuck through, and she'll be sitting back there saying, these guys are not going to do this to me.
Remember, though, when she was having that battle, that Titanic battle with Michelle Filkey, she basically lost the race in that same area, so she's not learned too much from that.
No, but that's a very difficult corner to read. You can't see it until you arrive there, and I mean, you couldn't really criticise her for it. She was trying to do the right thing, and then, of course, you're thinking, I don't really want to bash the car around too much, so I won't close the gate totally. And, of course, the guy must have through.
Here they come now. Wally Lewis, there he is, car number 6, the number he made so famous. Grant Kenny now has been shuffled back. Now, we've had a change of places here. Wally Lewis, I said to you, there's a bit of mongrel in Wally, I'll tell you.
Oh,
he's never been beaten.
Oh, no, he's a very, very serious boy, our Wally. Now, back there in the ruck, of course, I don't think we can see him, but it was, of course, Sam Newman. And Sam, of course, always figures that he's like, for the Australian rules, he's the equivalent. I don't not up there at the moment, well, Sam. Oh, there he is. No, Sam's lurking along.
Absolute legend, but I mean, how laconic is this guy? Like, does he ever get flustered?
Well, look at him. He's sitting back there. He's probably reciting some sort of list of names or whatever. He's quite a brilliant mind in trivia, this guy, this Sam Newman. But look at him. Look at the pursed lips there. Very, very serious approach to it all. Actually, he came and saw me a few years ago, Sam did, and said, "Righto, Brocky, how much would it cost to get a car and take it to Bathurst?" Seriously.
Really?
No, absolutely. Sam's a very serious sort of competitor in whatever he's in.
AFL legend, of course, and the rugby league legend out in front now. We're starting to get a bit of action now. These breaks are starting to get quite warm, and they'll have to look after them. Wally Lewis, Gary Newen now. He makes an inside rush. He's learnt that if he can run up the inside and hold it there, he's a chance. But Lewis comes across to KG. Blocks him out, Wally Lewis. Now Newen goes the other side. So he's really giving Wally a terrible time. He said, if I can't go that way, I'll try and get the run from this area. Through he comes. He might just get a good run through here. And doesn't do it though. Whoa, and one gone round into the wall. Bang, bang, thank you, ma'am. Let's see who it is. That's Kirsty. I just said bang, bang, thank you, ma'am, and it was Kirsty.
Well, Kirsty got out shuffled there coming in the corner. I thought a few of the guys were... Here we go. Kirsty thinking, well, I can get around here. There's enough of a gap. She left a bit of it, and of course was enough. Well, she should be able to get it going again. She'll be right.
Kirsty, oh, gee, I tell you what, she'll be cranky with herself. There's no doubt about that. Oh, look at this up here. Car 20. Car 20.
That's
right in.
Catherine Harvey.
And that's last year's winner. Catherine Harvey won it last year. Here we go, Brocky.
Well, absolutely just gone wide there. Catherine's been, I'd say she just missed the corner, looking at how wide the other one is. That's a very easy car to run. Remember the late, great Ed Senna going in that same corner some years ago. So Catherine's on her own.
Pat Bicken was the other car there.
Well,
and that's the girl we were saying, the AFL specialist coach. And with the Adelaide Crows. But gee whiz, did you see Catherine Harvey just throw her hands up and grab her helmet? She was so embarrassed.
Not a happy person about that little misdemeanor. Still, let's just notice what.
Now, this doesn't surprise me about Wally Lewis. I said from the word go, he really is quite an accomplished driver. He would love to do this permanently as 23 goes around.
That's Natalie Avellino, the netballer, of course.
They're all having a go and a big smile too, enjoying themselves. Look at this.
Well, Dazzle, what happens is that once the tyres get a little bit warm, and once the brakes get a bit hot, and once you start getting a bit of confidence that you can actually go a bit faster, that's why you start getting these moments as the on your own, cold tyres, everything else, you can do it all very nicely. Oh, yes. This is a good close race up front here between two very determined people.
Yes, it is a good race as you look down there, and that gives you an idea of this massive crowd. 205,000 expected here. The house full signs have gone out. It is a world record over 3 days. Over 500,000 people have turned out, and that is just amazing.
Well, I reckon I've probably signed 100,000 autographs since I got here. It's been absolutely incredible, the public response to this closing, this grand finale. And there's that corner where Catherine Harvey went in. She obviously moved the car, and that's okay. She's off and running. Wally Lewis in front, leading Gary Newand, and Grant Kenny holding station there. Very, very even little gap there at the moment. No one's sort of able to close it.
And there's another one in 17. Sam Newman's out. He's got it in the wall. Listen to the crowd. They'll give him plenty.
We need the pink tutu and the little bit of acrobatics to really make it. He's hit that pretty hard.
He has, and they'll give him plenty. I'll tell you, they won't miss him. He won't miss them either.
Sam does anything for publicity. Look, Sam, honestly.
Sam Newman hit the wall and out. Here's a replay.
Understeer, severe understeer, as you can see.
And he's given that a shot too.
Quite possibly coming in there, and after the very hard break, here's a picture of Sam's car running wide. You can see he's just absolutely didn't knock off enough speed off there, and that was locked in about 50 metres beforehand. In my opinion, Daryl, He's come down the main straight, he's cooked the brakes, he's arrived at the next corner, and I'll bet you he says later on, gee, there wasn't too much brakes here when I got back next to the sharp one.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So Gary Newan now putting some pressure on the Lewis, and another one has gone in. This is a corner that's really giving them all a hard time. 2 or 3, maybe that car of Sam Newman sitting out like that could have been responsible for that.
Natalie again there, but she's off and running. I mean, quite well, it could be that, yes, you're quite right.
Whoa, 16 does a big loop to loop, and down they come, they pour their way through. That's Grant Kenny.
No, Gary Newan.
Gary Newan, he was in second place, and he puts the hand out. He says, no, no, no. Hey. Have a look at this, no hands. You can't drive with no hands. He's so dirty. Whoa, he was challenging Wally Lewis. This is the last lap, of course, and now he's got no hope. It looks like the King might do it again.
Well, yeah, and that's still Grant there, I believe, hanging in there in second. But no chance of closing the gap.
Gary Newan, you saw what he did out the window, not happy with what the crowd said at all, and then just said, what else can I do now? This is why he was upset.
He's pulled up the inside there. Well, of course, this is where Damon Hill and Michael Schumacher got caught up last year. Well, the same sort of deal, I suppose, but was there a World Championship hanging on it?
I'll tell you what, it was a brave move, wasn't it, to have a go?
It was.
So car 5 now. Wally Lewis is in front. Car 19 is running second. That's Ian Murray. Car 5, that's Grant Kenny is third, and 22 is fourth. So the King is going to keep his unbeaten record. Oh, off they go again. You're on the last lap. You're on the last corner. Don't hit the wall now. Lewis has done it.
That was Phil Rogers who went across the I thought.
Lewis has done it. Now, Peter Brock, he has never, ever lost one of these celebrity races. I reckon he might find his way into a car one day.
Yeah, that was Phil Rogers who understeered wide on the last corner. But look, he could do it. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it's a matter of application and dedication, all those things. Gary Newan, is it back there?
Here we go. Watch this.
Well, absolutely no way was that car going to stop and turn in time.
I remember you said to me one day, sometimes you've got to get a car by the scruff of the neck and say, I'm going to take you around this corner whether you want to go or not. That's what he was trying to do.
That's about it. But there was a communication gap between himself and the motor car, of course.
So Wally Lewis, number 6, came home again, the winner and the grinner. Ian Murray, good performance. He got into second place. Grant Kenny up and down like a yo-yo, got into third. Then Rogers, Newan and Benny Elias, wearing his famous number 9, comes in